All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Legend of the Galactic Heroes, episode 78. A bomb went off.
Mm-hmm.
An actual bomb. Okay.
Yeah. We have some dead.
Yep, we have some dead. Not as many as it could have been, though. We were kind of lucky in that regard. But
could have been a lot worse.
Yes, but as Rubinsky said, doesn't really matter because the effect of the bomb is just the fact that the attack happened.
Right.
The fact that it happened right now is, of course, very timely because of the whole expedition to Iserlon. And apparently now Bittenfeld is charging forward as he does, and Fahrenheit didn't mean to make him do that. Okay, I'm curious to see what that does. And then there's the whole situation of Mecklinger being alone to be the anvil, which might be a bit tough. Because Yang will definitely put pressure there.
Yeah, I do think that that's a possibility, but I actually think that Mariendorf was entirely doing that to try and dissuade Reinhardt from going all in on this fight because the logic behind it is faulty, but I don't think that Yang is actually going to try and just abandon Iserlon and go, whoo, I'm going to Odin and gonna pull a whole thing there. That would be a bit dramatic, and it would also be really risky of just saying
definitely risky.
Oh yeah, we can abandon our fort. That's no problem.
Right. Bye-bye, Elphasiel. We did.
Yeah.
And so long. Good luck. You know.
We think that we'll do a better job of defending our democracy in Odin than we would in a super military Death Star fortress.
Right. Yeah. I have a plan. Attack.
Right. But y'all, this is going to get really crazy if Reinhardt does just commit all the way to go to this. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. All right, Bittenfeld's about to get antagonized by a response. And that really does seem to be kind of the big kind of theme of this episode, was basically just, we've got a lot of things that we're presented with, and we as human beings have to figure out how to respond to those things.
Right.
It's not all determined. It's not, just, fate.
Right. There is no fate, only what we make,
Right. And Yang, in some ways, is the nitpicker who would be like, no, fate is fine, but predetermination, that kind of pisses me off because it undermines two aspects of human beings that we have to, in some ways, assume we have, which is one, free will, which is one we can't entirely prove. We can prove for the most part,
but we can believe that we have it, and then the desire to utilize our own faculties and stuff to make decisions, which is again through free will. But
it all kind of comes down to the idea of, well, we have reason and free will, and it's like, well, but the only reason why we are pretty sure we have that is because we haven't had a computer calculate the movements of
exactly right. There are some good arguments to be had that everything is kind of predetermined and all just environmental data that makes it look like free will, but it's actually not, and whatnot. But
ultimately we can't see that far. So
but regardless, it's good questions to ask, and I love that Yang is wrestling with this and Julian's wrestling with his own struggles and things like that. And the whole thing of the scream in the middle of the night, right? That freaked me out.
That freaked me out a lot.
That gave me memories of times when it's like, okay, I have a second internet tab open with a paused YouTube video that then randomly refreshes or something because of
whatever reason,
and then it starts with someone getting strangled or something because it's like a video game or something. And it's like, oh God, where did that come from? Right?
You can look through all the tabs.
Okay. Pause that. But the idea that then in this moment, Julian is able to see that Yang, he's not actually a miracle worker, right? He's a dude.
Yeah.
Right? He's just another guy.
No good romantic advice, so he's not going to give any.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they can just talk about other stuff all through the night. And those kinds of moments where someone is just willing to be there and they're not necessarily going to ask any prying questions or whatever, they're there to listen, and if you want to share about whatever it is you're going through, then awesome, but if not, no big deal.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Freaking narrator, though, spoiling things, being like, this would be the last time that they would have a long night to yeah, bad. No, stop it. Now, to be fair, one of the things that we have rarely seen them do is this. Like, this is something I think they've only done once before, and it wasn't even all night.
Right. It
was more just a really long conversation that they had at night. And I believe it started in like the restaurant, and then it went outside, and then it ended up with them like looking over the big statue that Reinhardt's gonna have torn down after he comes back. It was a pretty long conversation, but it wasn't like all throughout the night.
Right.
But Yang dying in this battle is, I would say, is relatively. Well, let's go with this. It's astronomically more likely than it has ever been really throughout the show.
Yes, especially since they literally brought in a character who, okay, if you're going to have, all right.
You're going to have it be anyone.
If you're going to have Yang get assassinated, yeah, have it be that fucking guy, right? Because
oh my God.
I can't think of anyone else that I would prefer to have do it, right? Because it's so awful, right? And the whole idea of Yang getting assassinated, it's like, really? Like, if anything sends Reinhardt into a true downward spiral, I think it would be that.
Right.
It would be
that
I was doing all of this stuff. I was accepting that I am putting way too many eggs in the basket of I need to defeat Yang in combat.
Right.
And then literally as I'm going to do it, oh, he dies?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, so
watch then Reinhardt still loses anyway.
No, if Yang dies, Reinhardt will crush Iserlohn.
I disagree.
I mean, maybe because he gets thrown into like off his game or something.
No, just he'd never know. Why would he ever be told that Yang is dead? See, this is the thing. This is the thing that's weird about this. Is that if the Church of Terra wants to prolong the fighting so that they kill each other, you don't kill Yang now. You kill Yang after he's thrashed Reinhardt here at this battle, so that they've lost both fleets. That's why I think that there's something else going on specifically to go after Reinhardt while this is happening. So they're going to hit both.
If both of them died at the same time.
Or just in the same battle.
Right. Or
this conflict.
Or in just close succession, right?
Yeah.
That would absolutely plunge the galaxy into chaos. Because it'd basically be like, okay, Ruental, I guess, but he hasn't actually officially taken on that next leadership position, you know? And there's no true heir, so...
No.
Like, Oberstein is injured, so that might actually be helpful, but... Yeah. Like,
I'm telling you, Mariendorf, it's needed. It's
wed
necessary.
and bed, Reinhardt.
Well, no, I'm saying Mariendorf would be my logical pick for the leader of the Empire.
Absolutely, yes.
Like 100%.
If we were to have someone that basically could actually do a good job of it, especially in peacetime.
Interim leader.
Yep.
Put apart by the military. And Oberstein just
like,
to be like...
Yeah, if you actually, like, okay, while Ruental...
For 6 months,
Right, while Ruental, I could see very much being like, no, I want to have my chance now. Oberstein would totally, like, vote for her if it was, like, the three, like, super fleet admirals, like, talking. Oberstein would probably be like, yeah, she's legit. And Mittermeier would probably be like, yeah.
But with regards to Yang dying, though... Falk, I don't believe is going to fail. So I'm just going to bring this up here that I think that Yang could die in the next few episodes.
Right.
The issue is that just because Falk is being sent on this mission now doesn't mean actually that it's going to happen in this battle.
That's true.
Falk will have to actually get to the Isolon fortress in the middle of a battle, which I think is a bit crazy to assume he could actually do that.
And while this could be something that we're just getting shown now because...
Out of order in timeline.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, because all kinds of preparations would have to be made and stuff, but it wouldn't, it wouldn't have been relevant 5 episodes ago or 10 episodes ago.
And this could be a thing of where this is a crew that they've got that sent him on the ships headed from Elphasil to Iserlohn.
Sure.
Because in terms of plot setup-wise, that bit felt like it was one of those things of, oh, okay, Yang didn't actually have to deal with the civilians turning him in.
Right.
But it also felt like now all the eggs are in one basket. Iserlon is
Right.
truly the final bastion for democracy. But, with ships going that would automatically get a pass through the security clearance.
Oh, sure.
That's the perfect way to send in an assassin.
Yeah. That's a great point.
So Yang did not have to deal with El Facile betraying him. But El Facile unwittingly betrays him by sending in ships that they didn't test their own security to see if there were any people that would be problematic on board.
Also, one of the things that I'm kind of curious about, because they talked with the whole thing of will El Facile betray Yang, right? They talked about the consequences of that with regards to Reinhardt and the goodwill of the people and things like that.
Right.
But given that the leaders just left El Facile to go to Iserlon, I could see that potentially making the people of El Facile thinking like, okay,
they could have literally like brought everyone in the ships. Like, remember, this is a sci-fi. The ships are pretty big.
But it said the leaders and stuff. Like, I'm guessing the whole planet wasn't evacuated.
No, probably not.
But yeah,
I mean, anyone that wanted to go probably could go. Like,
I suppose, yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Like,
I'm curious.
Just because they're on a planet doesn't mean that there's billions of people on it.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
You know.
Yep. I think it's actually been established that a lot of the planets have closer to like 50 million or something. Like that.
Like a lot less.
Much smaller amount because you've got lots of planets. People can spread out.
Right, and then also just not every planet is perfect. So
exactly.
There's environments on the planet where you just can't settle or something.
Yep. But I'm curious to see if there ends up being any kinds of consequences for that with regards to the leaders of this whole El Facile government and stuff. Not that I particularly care about them too much or think that they'll have some huge impact in the galaxy at large, especially since they didn't decide to turn on Yang.
I think they could.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, especially if we end up in a situation where the fortress survives. That means it'll probably never get taken. If Reinhardt doesn't take it here, I don't think he'll ever take it.
Oh, totally. But I think he's going to take it here.
Oh, I
unless it's like something that makes Reinhardt like pull back and like not actually.
It's
truly
episode
try and
78.
take it. Yeah.
He's not taking it here.
Well, what do you mean taking it here? Like
that this corridor battle or whatever they were calling it at the end.
Mm-hmm. I think this corridor battle is Bittenfeld and Fahrenheit versus
totally.
Yang, but I think Reinhardt's not even going to be here.
Totally. I'm meaning when Reinhardt shows up with the massive fleet, I do not think he's going to take the Iserlon.
Really?
Yeah. I think this is a thing where Reinhardt is going to. Well, it's a meta thing because it's episode 78, but also they said it's going to be the greatest tragedy in human history. That to me sounds like Reinhardt will die. That sounds to me like Reinhardt's fleet will get like 70% of it destroyed.
Oh.
Like, that sounds like way too much loss of human life to justify what you got from it, which is probably going to be little to nothing.
Well, and that's what I'm curious about, because when they were talking about it, they were saying that the plan was basically to try and, take on Bittenfeld and Fahrenheit one at a time and dismantle them before Reinhardt gets here. So the fact that then the narrator is saying this will be known as one of the greatest tragedies of human history, this battle that's coming up, when the majority of Reinhardt's forces aren't even there yet. It's
you're meaning that Bittenfeld,
like that
will
something
just completely slaughter Yang.
No.
Okay.
No. I'm sure that at some point Bittenfeld is going to surprise Yang because he's a bull in a china shop, right? And
he's fast.
It's going to randomly like kick its leg at one point, and Yang's going to be like, "Oh, okay,"
you got some spirit in you,
and continue tearing it to pieces. But it's something where. If I consider like all the pieces of like if you were to mastermind the greatest tragedy of humankind, human history in this world right now, you would want as many of the big pieces and stuff present so that you could have the biggest tragedy possible, right? But if it's just Yang and his people and then Bittenfeld and Fahrenheit.
Yeah, see, I feel like that's an assumption being made as to why that shows that the assumption of being made that it's only containing to that is wrong, because you can't have it be the biggest tragedy in human history with just 3 fleets. It just doesn't work. We've already had the Alliance throw, what was it?
Yeah, 200,000 ships.
200,000 ships.
Yeah.
And they lost how much?
Oh, almost all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
That is already something that will not be surpassed by 3 fleets. It's impossible.
Yeah, so and that's what I'm curious about.
That's why I think Reinhardt is
looking
going to...
Yeah, we'll see how it goes in future episodes. The vibe what they have seemed to say is that it's just these three fleets at play.
I don't
but
agree.
but I will say that there is always the possibility, because while I disagree with you on that angle, there's the possibility that when they refer to the battle, they could say that like it's all the extended battle and Reinhardt shows up later and it's all part of the big thing and maybe and
the battle hasn't even started yet.
Right. And if I were to think of the ultimate tragedy, it would be that Yang and Reinhardt die at the same time.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
But
that's all I'm saying. I'm saying that the battle of Vermilion, for instance, is not just that one spot where the fleets engaged in that little corridor, or the one spot where they engaged over here. It's the whole thing. It's the week-long or however long it was engagement. So once the Imperial fleet, the Grand Imperial Expeditionary Force, or whatever it's called, starts engaging with Reinhardt, with Yang, that is now the battle starting.
Right.
Once they stop engaging with them, meaning they are not going to come and attack anymore, the battle is over. Now, that is a word choice of, you could call it a war, but there really is no in-between word for what? Would you call it? Would you call it a campaign instead of a battle? Well, a series of battles or a series of engagements.
Okay. If we're gonna get into the definition of battle here, so if the fighting stops, that's the end of a battle, right? And then so like if Yang say beats Bittenfeld and Fahrenheit, and then he has the opportunity to go back to Iserlohn if he wants to, and Reinhardt's on his way.
Right, that battle is over.
That battle is over.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree.
and then it's part of the campaign of taking Iserlohn.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that means the choice of battle is a weird one here.
Right.
But thus it has nothing to do with the greatest tragedy in human history.
Okay.
Yeah. It just can't. It just it does not make sense that it would be. Yeah.
But
see, the Battle of the Corridor, which positioned we weren't even reading it correctly.
Oh wow.
We weren't even reading it
positioned
correctly.
this year.
See, this is why it's good to go back and read the thing. The Battle of the Corridor, which is probably, you're right, just
Bittenfeld and Fahrenheit.
Maybe Fahrenheit not even there. Which positioned this year as one of the greatest tragedies of human history.
So that feels to me like we're in the end game of the series.
Reading comprehension.
Yeah.
It's good to have it.
Exactly. Remembering details and specific words and things like that. Oh boy.
Hey, Jacob. Okay, like he said. Wow. What was the guy who wrote the message? Attenborough. You know, some people cannot comprehend the depth of the prose that is presented.
The shade that was being thrown towards Bittenfeld, it was ridiculously.
I'm practically wearing the Black Lancers T-shirt. Right.
Like. It was super entertaining, and at the same time, man, I feel for the guy, because I gotta say his terms of surrender, his speech to Yang, basically, that wasn't a bad one. That was pretty good.
Oh, it was fantastic. But is about as pointless as pissing into the wind, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And that's why I love that they're like, okay, why is Bittenfeld even doing this? And Yang's like, okay, this could actually be some big ploy, right? Like he's like, I can't ignore that possibility,
because Reinhardt could have just told him to do this.
Right. Yeah. This could be part of Reinhardt's machinations because Reinhardt is that genius. No, it's actually just that Bittenfeld's bored, and Fahrenheit's like, why don't you issue terms of surrender? You know what? Yeah, that might make me feel better. I didn't think he'd actually do it.
Yeah, and now he has to go up to the corridor to have, like, actual range, probably, to be able to send the message into the Iserlohn corridor.
Because he's not in some massive space station. Yeah.
Right, and then they're like,
weird.
Wow, okay, so how do we respond to this? Do we even need to? And Julian brought up the point of, I think we can just ignore it. And nope. Attenborough spends like a full night just scripting like multiple drafts of ideas, and I love that he had one that was more aggressive and taciturn than this.
Yeah,
like
this is the third I came up with. I think it's a bit more.
Well, no, because remember, this is the balanced one. He had one that was way more like in the middle. Like, sorry, not in the middle. More calm, like less. And then
extreme. He was like, nah.
And then he had a more extreme version.
Right.
And this is the balanced one.
Exactly, a little bit of both. And the fact that they're putting Merkatz's name on it, I love it because okay, if you're going to insult a man to this degree, right?
Yes.
And use such verbiage, putting Merkatz's name on the bottom of it, Merkatz would never say something like that ever, even
No.
to his most hated, detested enemy.
No,
Like
he's
he
far
is,
too
he is such a
respectable.
respectable Chad
Yes.
that would never happen, and he's also old.
Yeah, it's
he
true.
probably hasn't, taken the panties of victory
Right.
very recently,
It's
right?
the equivalent of saying "get fucked, scrub." Like
Right.
on a
Signed retiree,
Right.
like
signed old boomer,
yeah,
old genius boomer.
right now. Merkatz is a commander to be reckoned with, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for Bittenfeld, that is
Oh.
just going to make it so much worse.
Oh, you know what the Merkatz thing might have been?
Oh,
is
yeah?
the replacement for the idea that Attenborough was trying to bring up the idea that there are other commanders here.
Mm.
And Merkatz is a commander that they all know of.
Yep.
So it's like saying, hey, we don't have just Yang here.
Right.
We have Merkatz here as well. They're not going to care about the name of Dusty Attenborough.
No,
No
they're
one
not.
cares. Sorry, Attenborough, but
Right, yeah.
you're over 30 now. So no one cares
Nobody gives a shit
Nobody
about
gives
you.
a shit about you anymore.
Yeah.
But Merkatz, though, it is a setup for, I just want to bring this up, is a setup for someone that could lead the fleet if Yang dies.
That's true. Okay. Yeah,
And
that's a really good
even
point.
if the Empire does, for whatever dumbass reason, they actually would know that Falk just shot, Yang.
Right.
Because there's the...
I'm holding out that it will be with
And-
the Thor's hammer, and then that will be
Yeah.
a bit obvious. But yeah.
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
that all being said, I'm very scared about the idea that this is the Church of Terra's plan.
Right.
Is we are going to sneak some old enemy, some old, someone that Yang kind of,
Yeah.
someone with a slight against the Yang.
I mean, yeah. Falked himself,
It's
right?
true.
Yang didn't have anything to do with that, but
not really,
but he called it like he saw.
he called it like
you
he
know?
saw it. Yeah, exactly.
But the thing that I'm curious about is that the Church of Terra. I mean, this guy Ville or whatever his name is.
yeah.
He's a smart cookie. I don't think he would just send in some random psycho when we've already seen that he's not very effective at getting things done.
Mhm.
Like, he just isn't.
Yeah.
So if he has help, that will make me be a lot more worried. I still think that regardless he's going to succeed, because that's the narrative seems to be telling us that it will.
But again, remember we misconstrued the interpretation of this year being
That's
the
true.
tragedy,
That
which
is
means
true.
that probably is what's going to happen is that Yang will die in a year at maximum.
Sure. It's going to be something where Yang will still stomp Bittenfeld and
And
Fahrenheit.
Fahrenheit will probably gather up the pieces of Bittenfeld.
Sure.
Get out of here, you idiot!
But that'll just end up being the thing that, like they said, enrages Reinhardt, and then they fight together, and then that's when they both die around the same time.
or
something.
whatever.
I don't know. But
yeah, that would be actually kind of a big just cock for Falk is just to have him show up and go through
Shankov
all
is
this
just
right, go through all this stuff.
Mhm.
Yang dies in battle. Falk gets there, and it's just a thing of where they're already like at his funeral and stuff,
Mhm.
and he's just like, and he just laughs a little bit, and then Shankov like comes up behind him, and be like, "Did you just?"
Let's put you in cryosleep.
And he
for a
like
few
turns
thousand
around
years.
and he's like, "You," and
Right.
then just bop, just
because,
and then
I'm-
like, now what we're gonna have you do is go assassinate the
Ville.
church." yeah.
Oh my God. Anywho,
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see how this goes because it's sure to be interesting.
Yes.
And I'm very curious again what the narrator has said as far as ominous stuff will play out.
Yeah. And this is the beginning of
And
or
Or very close to it.
like a really big battle.
Yeah. Yes.
Like a really big series of battles that could lead to one or both Reinhardt and Yang dying.
Yep.
So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below. For our Patreon, you can get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
Next time.